Hello, my name is Sofia and this is the walkthrough to OSINT Exercise 005. On my website you can find a number of OSINT exercises to practice your skills. If you have not attempted to solve this one yet, you can find the link in the description and give it a go first. If you're here because you have completed, well done, I should be very proud. If you're here because you want to find out how to solve it, I hope you find this video useful. So welcome to OSINT Exercise 005, the one with the polar bears. Task briefing. The image below is a screenshot from a zoo live cam. It was taken on January 15, 2023 at around 2 p.m. local time. Please answer the questions below. A. In which zoo are these polar bears located? B. What was the temperature at the time of the screenshot? And C. What were the exact coordinates of where the bears were laying down? You can click here to open the photo on a new tab and you have a bigger version of it. Here you go. I marked this exercise level as hard for beginners, the first and the third question, and the second one being medium. For experts, I'll say perhaps the first and the third are medium and the middle one is easy. Honestly, I have no idea. When I created this exercise, I marked the first question as easy, thinking it would take just a few seconds to find out the zoo. But then I realized something. Beginners tend to use image reverse search for everything, and in this case, it won't be of much help. So if you have done that, I'll tell you how you should have done it instead. By default, I Google everything, literally everything. I like information, and the more I have before I start attempting to geolocate something, the better. So let's try my way, because I'll show you. If you just reverse search using all the usual engines, you have no matches here. This one you have plenty of polar bears, but honestly you'll probably have to click all of them to get it, and I don't even know if it's one of them. So not Yandex, perhaps not Bing, I'm not sure if it's even there. Google Lens. No, you're just not going to get there. Maybe you did. If you did, great, absolutely amazing. So let's do this my way, okay? So what we know so far? We know it's a zoo, we know it has polar bears, and we know it has live cams. And there are not many zoos in the world with polar bears, as they have very specific habitat requirements. On top of that, the majority of zoos do not have live cams. So we can assume that the number of zoos with polar bears that have live cams in their enclosure is pretty small. So let's just Google that. Simple, very easy. So polar bears live cam. There you go. First option. I mean, you can see it's already purple. I already clicked there. So if you click this one, and here we go, the polar bear camera. Let's play it and let's watch some polar bears. Okay, so we have a polar bear, it's a live cam, and first thing you probably notice is that this is different than this. This is not the same location, is it? Okay, I'm going to tell you, first of all, that this zoo is amazing. So whenever the bears move, the camera moves, oh look at that, it kind of follows them around. So it keeps on changing. So you could be very lucky and just see this as you're doing, or you can be very lucky and be like me, that I spent half an hour looking at birds because I was waiting to do this video and I just looked at birds, waiting for a polar bear to just show up. Okay, but even if you got here and you do not see a polar bear, you can still get to this zoo, right? So you know that it's likely the San Diego Zoo. And there's a few hints. So you can see this icon, right? You can see this icon here. We know that live cams have different settings. Sometimes they have the name, sometimes they have the dates here. The quality of the camera is also different. So we can compare all these things and also the main habitat and look and be like, yeah, it kind of looks similar. And like I said, I have the symbol and everything around it. So let's try to verify that we are looking at polar bears in the San Diego Zoo. And how do we do that? We're going to Google again, because you Google everything. So this time, instead of going to Google, we're going to Google on Google Maps. So we're going to polar bears, San Diego. Whoop. God, the microphone in front of my face just does not help, does it? Zoo. Okay, so it says Zoo, San Diego, polar bear plunge. Let's check it out. There we go. So this is the zoo, San Diego Zoo, and this is the polar bear specific area. So like always, you have photos, you have videos, panoramic photos, you have a lot of very useful content on this site that can help us verify this. Let's see if we can find something we can use, maybe a video. This is a video, brilliant. Let me just move. Great, so we have polar bears, we have the enclosure, we can see a lot of stuff. And if you were paying attention, you would have noticed something very, very useful. Let me just put the images side by side so you can see it a bit better. Okay, here we go. This is side by side. You have the photo from the exercise and you have a video that we found on Google Maps on the San Diego Zoo, the polar bear plunge, apparently it's called. So let's look at this tree here. That is, I'll just move it like this. Fortunately, I cannot move this from here, sorry. Okay, let's see. Look at that. That is the same tree. And there, on that rock where the bear is now located, this is the structure here. It's the same one. So if we look at this video, the polar bears would have been more or less, maybe where this polar bear is actually. There's a polar bear, isn't there? Yep, there is definitely a polar bear there. So where this polar bear is, that's the same location as this. So we have verified this is the same location. So we can answer the first question. In which zoo are the polar bears located? They're located in the San Diego Zoo in the United States of America. So now we're going to figure out the second question, which is, what was the temperature at the time of the screenshot? So I already told you what was the time of the screenshot. It was on January 15, 2023, and it was 2 p.m. local time, so bear time, not my local time. So we just need to figure out now what was the temperature of San Diego on January 15, 2023, around 2 p.m. And how are we going to do it? Yes, we are going to Google it. So let's just open Google again. And we're going to write something like historical, because you want something that's, has passed in the past. Temperature. God, this microphone in front of me does not help me. In San Diego. Just keep it simple. Google likes it simple. Okay. We have some information. Wonderground. Brilliant. That's literally what I want. And now we have this. So let's put a time. We know it was the 15th and January 2023. Now we just click view. So it changes. Okay, great. So let's move this to around 2 p.m. So there's 1:51 p.m., 2:28. So 1:51 is closer. So here you go. 62 Fahrenheit. And because I have no idea what the hell that means, let me just Google that. 62 Fahrenheit. To that. So here you go. Okay, so it was almost 17 degrees Celsius in San Diego at the time that this screenshot was taken. And now let's answer question number 3. What were the exact coordinates of where the bears were laying down? That was almost mentioned because I just showed you there that they were there behind it. So let's just figure out where that is in terms of the grand scheme of things. So one thing you can notice here is that there is this big structure to give it some shade. There's 1 and there's 2, and this will be very useful for us. And if you zoom out, you can see a bit better. So there's 1 there and there's a second there. So let's just look at it from the top. Zoom in. Okay, so we have 1 and 2. I'll just remove that so it's not, no, it's still in my way. Brilliant. Okay. So from this angle, you can see that we were looking towards this way on the video. So the person filming was perhaps in here and the polar bear was more or less there. So this is quite a high structure. The tree was perhaps this little thing here. We cannot even zoom anymore. And the polar bear was behind. So maybe this white thing was the polar bear at the time. It's probably quite likely. So if you right click it, there you go, copy to clipboard, and that is it. That is the location of the polar bears. So this is the number. So now we can answer all 3 questions. In which zoo are these polar bears located? They're located in the San Diego Zoo. What was the temperature at the time of the screenshot? It was 62 Fahrenheit, almost 17 degrees Celsius. What were the exact coordinates of where the bears were laying down? And this is it. This is the number here. So that's it. That is how you can solve exercise 005. I hope it wasn't too hard, but I can imagine how looking at these live cams can throw you off a bit, especially just end up looking at a very zoomed in polar bear, or I know, just birds or something. Thank you for listening. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a few things. Main thing is Google. Google everything. You could find anything on Google. I cannot say this enough. I love Google. Please leave a comment. I also love those. Stay in touch for OSINT Exercise 006. Thank you for listening.